Okay, so basically for this chapter, it is it combines. Okay, it combines basically two chapters in the reference book lah. Kan, if you are referring to Campbell, it is divided into two different chapters that for your syllabus we combine into one chapter. Sama juga if you are referring to the Solomon, they are into the two separate chapters. Okay, so you have to know how to use your reference book. Okay, your reference book. Campbell dengan Solomon is not textbook. Okay, it is reference book. Kalau textbook, dia punya susunan chapter tu semua teratur macam kita punya syllabus. Tapi yang awak ada adalah reference book. Okay, which is it has all the chapter on biology. Okay, not all we are going to cover for your syllabus in Asasi. So you have to know how to use your reference book. Okay, so for example, if you have your reference book right now, okay, so the way that you use your reference book is that the one easy way, kan? So for example, if you are searching for a certain topic, let's say for example, last time we looked at the chapter on reproductive system. Okay, so and then you want to find on testosterone, for example. Okay, so you just look at the back of your reference book dekat index tu, kan, and then you search for T lah, testosterone, and it gives you the page number. Okay, so you just open to that page number and read on the topic. Sama juga, kan? So for all other chapters, for example here is on the nervous system. Okay, so nanti kita akan tengok, let's say for example action potential. So you don't understand on action potential, you open to the back of your book, okay, on the index page. Okay, you search for A punya section, action potential, and then it gives you the page. You open to that page and then you read up. Okay, so that is how you use your reference book. So yang kat depan tu you have all the list of chapters. Yang tu susah untuk cari apa topik yang nak baca, kan? So just use the index. You have to know how to use the index dekat belakang tu. Okay, you just search according to the alphabetical order lah, kan? Kat situ. So make sure that you fully utilize your reference book. Bukan beli sesaja mahal kat situ buat hiasan atas meja. Okay, so you have to use your reference book in case ada yang awak tak faham, kan? So boleh refer dekat awak punya reference book. Lagi satu, the one benefit of using your reference book is that there are figures, okay, figures or diagrams that are in colours. Okay, when they are in colours, when you read all the information, you have to read the process or the whatever text that you are reading, whatever facts that you are reading, you have to refer to the to a diagram. So by referring to a diagram when reading, it helps you to understand better. Kan, kalau awak punya nota ni, maybe you have printed out your notes and it is in black and white. So black and white tu dia tak membantu untuk awak ingat. So bila awak refer kepada diagram yang ada colour, so it helps you, okay, to picturize the whole process. Yeah, so make sure that you use your reference book dengan optimum lah kat situ. Okay, so chapter 5 on hormonal and nervous communication. Okay, so how does a cell communicate? So in this chapter, we are going to cover on basically how cell communicate, either through the secretion of hormones, okay, or through the transfer of impulse, along the neurons. So for this chapter, we are going to look at the different types of hormones, okay, how hormones are classified, and also the transmission of impulse along neurons. Okay, so it combines two different chapters. So classes of hormones, it is divided into three classes for it. Three classes based on dia punya component. Okay, so for the for the hormones, okay, that is made up of protein or polypeptide chains. They are under the class of polypeptides. For example, you have the insulin, okay, insulin, glucagon, uh, prolactins, okay. So those are type of hormones that are made up of polypeptide chain, okay. So they are polypeptide. They are protein hormones. And then you have another class which is amines. So amines are basically hormones um, uh, that is from a modified amino acids. Yeah, amino acid that has been modified to form hormones. Okay. And then the third class is steroids. So steroids are hormones that are made up of steroids. So if you remember back during semester one, when we look at the chapter on fats, okay, so we have fats that are categorized into three classes, which is triglycerides. Okay, you have the phospholipid, and then you have the steroids. Okay, so remember that for steroids, okay, the in order to produce hormones that is made up of steroids, the precursor molecule is from cholesterol. Okay, so example of steroid hormone, you have the testosterone, you have the estrogen, you have the progesterone. All that are made up of dia punya precursor molecule is cholesterol. Okay, cholesterol is composed of four fused rings. Okay. And then for all these hormones, okay, they have their own specific mechanism of action. Okay, so it is divided into two. They are either lipid soluble or water soluble. Okay, so kalau steroid hormones, obviously they are lipid soluble. Polypeptide, they are water soluble. For amines, it depends. There are some that are water soluble. There are also some that are lipid soluble. Okay, and then for water soluble hormone, they will when they reach the punya target cells, okay, so they akan trigger a series of chemical reaction. We call it as signal transduction. Okay, signal transduction, a series of chemical reaction that occurs inside. So that is for water soluble hormone. Okay, usually for hormones that are made up of protein. And then kalau lipid soluble hormone, because they are lipid soluble hormone, they can easily diffuse through the plasma membrane, as the plasma membrane of cell is made up of phospholipid molecule. Okay, so they can easily diffuse through the plasma membrane, and within the cell you have the receptor for the hormone to bind. Okay, so when the hormone enter into the cell, the hormone bind to the receptor and it forms hormone receptor protein. And then for the lipid soluble hormone that has entered into the cell, dia akan pergi terus masuk ke dalam nukleus. Okay, so once it enters into the nucleus, it binds to specific region in the DNA and causes the gene to be either activated or repressed. Okay, the expression of that gene. Okay, so all these hormones are produced and secreted. Okay, produced and secreted by endocrine glands. So there are many endocrine glands that we are going to look at. For example, in our brain, okay, we have the hypothalamus, we have the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland is divided into two sections, which is the anterior pituitary. You have the anterior posterior pituitary also. So each one will secrete different hormones. Macam hari tu kita tengok reproductive system kan. So reproductive system, the hypothalamus will secrete the hormone GnRH kan, gonadotropin releasing hormone, and it triggers the anterior pituitary to secrete FSH and LH. Ingat balik awak punya chapter repro. Okay, so all that are endocrine glands. Okay, so endocrine, you have endocrine glands that secrete hormones, and this hormone will travel into your blood vessels, into your bloodstream, and it will reach to specific cells that has the receptor for that hormone. Okay, hanya sel yang ada receptor pada hormon tu yang akan respond. Okay. Okay, so for example, tadi kan the pituitary gland that releases FSH and LH will travel along your blood vessels until it reaches its target organ, which is FSH and LH. Dia punya target organ dia adalah the ovary. Okay, so the ovary, it causes follicle to grow, kan? So grow and then it leads to ovulation. So itu dia punya effect lah. Okay. So hormone will be produced and secreted by its specific endocrine glands, travel along your blood stream, and reaches its target cells, because each target cells has their own receptor for that hormone. And then the next one is neuron. Okay, neuron structure. So we are going to look at the structure of neuron. Neuron, you have the cell body, you have the dendrite, you have the axon. Okay, you have the axon terminal, and then in the axon terminal, you have the synaptic vesicles that contain neurotransmitter. Okay, so that is the neuron structure. So each component of the neuron have their own specific function that we are going to look at. And then you have the different types of neuron. Can we have the interneuron in the brain? Okay, so you have the uh, 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 motor neuron, kan? So all that neuron, they have their own specific function. And then you have the neural signaling, okay, impulse transmission. So this one we are going to look at the generation of action potential, okay, action potential along the axon. And then the role of neurotransmitter. So there are several different types of neurotransmitter. And then they have their own function lah, kan? So it can trigger the impulse to be transmitted into the next neuron, or it can inhibit the transmission of the impulse. So it depends on the different type of neurotransmitter that we are going to look at later. So this is the overview of the whole chapter. Okay. So endocrine system versus nervous system. So in this chapter, these are the learning outcomes. So we are going to identify 3 different types of hormone classes tadi lah. We have the polypeptide, we have the amines, and then we have also the steroids hormones. Okay. Second, identify the endocrine glands and describe the actions of hormones. So we have many different endocrine glands that we are going to look at later. And then the next one is compare the mechanism of hormones. Tadilah water soluble and lipid soluble hormones, kan? So macam mana hormon tu trigger a cell to be controlled by the hormone. Okay. And then number 4, describe the structure of neuron, describe the process involved in neural signaling. Okay, explain how neuron transmit impulse. For number 5 ni, we are going to look at the generation of action potential. Okay, action potential is another term for impulse. Sama. Okay. And then explain how a neuron transmit impulse along the axon and from one neuron to another neuron. Okay. And then lastly, we are going to compare between endocrine and nervous system. Okay. So macam mana kedua-dua sistem ni berbeza contohnya. Kalau endocrine system and nervous system, dia generally dia adalah untuk control, it is a form of how cells communicate. Okay, how cell communicate. Endocrine gland releases hormone. Hormone travels along the bloodstream until it reaches its target cells, kan? So it takes a longer time to get its effects. Okay, tapi kalau nervous system, dia punya the way of how the nervous system communicate compared to endocrine system is fast. Okay, which is through the transmission of impulse from one neuron to another neuron. Impulse will be transmitted. Okay, so that is one difference. Okay, kalau endocrine gland, another difference is that it involve chemical molecule, which is the hormone. Tapi kalau chemical signaling, kalau nervous system is electrical, okay, the transmission of impulse. So those are basically the difference between endocrine and the nervous system. Okay. So cellular communication. So basically cellular signaling is communication between cell. Okay. So signaling cell will send a signal and target cell will receive a signal. So in this case, for example, the endocrine gland obviously contains cells. Okay, so these cells produces hormone. Okay, so the hormone is the chemical signal, chemical molecule. Okay, that will be released into your bloodstream until it reaches target cell. Okay, so the target cell must have receptor for that hormone. Itu kalau kita tengok dari segi hormon lah. Kalau kita tengok dari segi nervous communication, nervous system, okay. So the signaling cell is the presynaptic neuron. Kan, presynaptic neuron generate impulse, transmit the neuron to the postsynaptic neuron. Okay. So postsynaptic neuron is the target cell. So target cell adalah postsynaptic neuron. Target cell can also be your muscle cell, for example. Okay, the target cell for that neuron to cause the cell to respond lah, kan. Kalau impulse reaches your muscle cell, maybe it causes your muscle cell to contract, for example. Okay, so it depends. So the target cell can be postsynaptic neuron, can be any cell within your body, for example, muscle cell that can contract, okay, after it receives the impulse. Okay, so types of intercellular signaling. Okay, so communication between different cells dalam badan awak lah. Okay, so we have several different types, which is endocrine signaling. So endocrine signaling, it involves endocrine gland. Okay, endocrine gland to produce and secrete hormones. Okay, so once this hormone has been secreted from the endocrine cell, it travels along your bloodstream until it reaches target cells that has receptor for that hormone. Only cells that has receptor for that hormone will respond. Okay, kalau yang lain tak ada receptor tu, dia tak boleh nak respond lah. Contoh FSH, dia akan travel along your bloodstream until it reaches the ovary. So only ovary has the receptor for that FSH hormone or LH hormone released by the pituitary gland. Kalau dia reach uterus, dia tak boleh nak respond lah, faham tak? So because uterus does not have the receptor for the FSH or LH hormone. Okay, so only cells that have receptor for the hormone will respond. And then the next one is paracrine signaling. So this is the signaling cell. So this is the target cell. So signaling and target cells are close together. For this one, for example, kita akan tengok contoh ni dalam chapter immune nanti. Macam contohnya, there is a type of cell, we call it as mast cell. Okay, mast cell will release, for, if I'm not mistaken is a histamine, kan. So histamine will trigger nearby cell to respond lah. Okay, and then during certain situation. Okay, and then the next one is autocrine signaling. So signaling and target cells are the same cell. So this cell secretes molecule that triggers its cells. This sendiri akan trigger daripada molekul yang di-release tu. So that is autocrine signaling. So yang ni contoh dalam kita akan tengok untuk chapter immune juga. Okay, immune system. Okay, so these are all the different example of how cell communicate. So endocrine signaling yang tadi lah, kan. So you have the endocrine gland that has the endocrine cell that releases secrete the hormone into your blood vessels until it reaches its target cells that has the receptor, okay, for that hormone. And then we have the paracrine signaling. Okay, so paracrine signaling secreted molecules diffused locally and trigger a response in neighboring cells. Okay, so the target cell lie near secreting cells. So this one, contoh dia, hold in your mind. So that one kita akan tengok contoh dalam immune cell nanti. So saya terangkan sekarang susah nak faham. So kita akan tengok masa immune. So immune nanti akan nampak dengan lebih jelas lah. And then autocrine signaling. Okay, so secreted molecules diffuse locally and trigger a response in the cells that secretes them. So secreting cells themselves are the target cells. So this one akan juga kita akan tengok dalam contohnya dalam immune system. Okay, contoh kalau ada this one type of white blood cells, okay, will secrete a chemical molecule, we call it as cytokines. Okay, so cytokines will secreted by the cell, trigger itself to be activated and proliferate to produce more of that white blood cells. So that is one of the effects. And then the synaptic signaling. So this one involve the transmission of impulse, which is transmission, the transfer of neurotransmitter during impulse transmission. Okay, synaptic signaling. So basically, it involves what neurotransmitter can. So neurotransmitter release from this one is presynaptic neuron. Okay, neuron that is transmitting the impulse. So in order for the impulse to be transmitted to the target cell, in this case, for example, is a cell. Okay, so dia akan releasekan neurotransmitter lah in order to be in order for the impulse to be transmitted, okay, to the next target cell. Okay, so neurotransmitter diffuse across synapse. So this is what we call it as synapse. Okay, and trigger responses in target cells or of target tissues. Okay, and then endocrine, neuroendocrine signaling. So neuron called neurosecretory cells secrete neurohormones which diffuse into bloodstream and trigger response in target cells anywhere in the body. Okay, neuroendocrine. So maksudnya neuron cell ni kan, neuron cell ni selain dia akan transmit impulse, dia juga akan release hormon. So itu contoh yang kita boleh tengok adalah antara hypothalamus dengan anterior pituitary. Okay, itu melibatkan neuroendocrine. Okay. Okay, so classes of hormones. So polypeptide, amines and steroids. So polypeptide, as I've mentioned, it is composed of chains of amino acids, polypeptide chain. They are water soluble. Common example is insulin. Okay, insulin which is secreted by the pancreas. And then we have the amines. Okay, so amines are hormones manufactured by enzymatic modification of specific amino acids. Okay, so it is one molecule of amino acid that has been modified. So example here you have the epinephrine. Epinephrine is water soluble. Thyroxine is also amine, but it is lipid soluble. Okay, so it depends. And then the third one is steroids. So they are lipid manufactured by enzymatic modification of cholesterol. So precursor molecule to synthesize steroid hormone are cholesterol, which is cholesterol usually it is composed of 4 fusarium. Yang membezakan antara one steroid hormone to another steroid hormone adalah dia punya ni, chain dia ni, side chain ni berbeza. Okay, itu yang akan menentukan dia steroid hormone apa, cortisol ke, testosteron ke, estrogen ke, kan. So this side chain will differentiate the different steroid hormones. Okay, so they are lipid soluble. What does lipid soluble mean? It means that it can easily diffuse through the plasma membrane, as the plasma membrane is composed of phospholipid bilayer. Okay, so okay, terkejut saya ada suara kat situ. Alright. Okay. So mechanism of action 3.1, lipid soluble hormone. So kita akan tengok dulu untuk lipid soluble hormone. So for lipid soluble hormone, it involve endocrine glands, okay, that is producing lipid soluble hormone. Okay, it's steroid hormone lah, basically steroid hormone ataupun amine hormone that is lipid soluble. So they are not water soluble, not able to dissolve in plasma portion of the blood, need transport protein to travel in blood vessels and attach to transport protein. So it means that endocrine gland yang menghasilkan lipid soluble hormone, steroid hormone ke ataupun amine macam thyroxine tadi, sel yang menghasilkan hormon jenis macam ni, dia punya hormon just it can easily diffuse out of the endocrine cell. Okay, it diffuses out of the endocrine cell through the phospholipid bilayer here, but dia punya problem kat sini adalah bila dia nak travel dalam blood vessels, bloodstream awak. Sebab apa? They are not water soluble. So in order for this lipid soluble hormone to be able to travel through your bloodstream, it has to bind with transport protein. Ingat ni, ini adalah keyword yang awak kena ada, fahamkan. Okay, lipid soluble hormone bind to transport protein as it travels along the blood vessels. Okay, because it is not water soluble, it has to bind to it has to bind to transport protein. So it has to attach to transport protein. Okay. So next, after it reaches the target cell, okay, it will dissociate from the transport protein. It enters or diffuse, okay, into the target cells. Okay, diffuse through the plasma membrane and enters into the target cell. Within this target cell, as you can see, for lipid soluble hormone, dia akan bind kepada receptor. It binds to a receptor. So this receptor, okay, this receptor can either be located within the nucleus or in the cytoplasm. Dia boleh ada dua tempat. Sama ada dalam nukleus terus ataupun dalam cytoplasm. Kalau di dalam cytoplasm receptor tu, so maksudnya hormon, steroid hormone ni, for example, akan bind to the receptor within the cytoplasm, form hormone receptor complex. Lepas tu dia akan masuk somehow juga mesti dalam nukleus. Tapi kalau reseptor tu dah memang siap-siap dalam nukleus, so maksudnya hormon ni akan enters, okay, through the nuclear envelope, okay, nuclear envelope, and then bind to the receptor to form hormone receptor complex. This is one of the key word that you must include, okay, during your explanation. If it come out in the exam lah. So itu keyword yang kena ada, okay. And then after it forms hormone receptor complex, it binds to specific region within the DNA, okay, and causes a certain gene to be activated or repressed. Okay, repressed. So activated, it means that once the gene is activated, the gene can produce mRNA to produce certain protein. Kalau repressed, maksudnya the gene will be switched off, will not be function, it cannot function. So there is no mRNA, there is no protein produced. Okay, so that is the effects of the hormone. Repress or activate certain gene within the cell. Okay. Okay, so ini dia punya prosedur lah. Okay, so here you have the estradiol, okay, ataupun estrogen. So this hormone enters into the cell, it diffuse, okay, through the plasma membrane, okay, as the plasma membrane is made up of phospholipid molecule, phospholipid bilayer. So for lipid soluble hormone, the receptor can be either located in the cytoplasm or in the nucleus. Ingat tu either in the cytoplasm or in the nucleus. So the hormone will bind to the receptor to form hormone receptor complex. If the receptor is in the cytoplasm, once the hormone binds to the receptor to form hormone receptor complex, it enters into the nucleus. Okay, bind to specific region within the DNA and causes the specific gene to be activated or repressed. In this case, dalam gambar Raja ni is activated. Okay, activated, as you can see, it produces mRNA for this hormone, for this protein, which is ventilogenin. Okay, so this mRNA will go into the cytoplasm to find the ribosome to synthesize the protein here. Okay. So kalau tengok poin yang last kali ni, the hormone yang ni poin yang penting lah. The hormone receptor complex that is activated may able to bind to specific region on the DNA. So this may activate or repress. Please highlight this one. Okay, this may activate or repress transcription of gene region into mRNA. Kalau activate, mRNA boleh terhasil lah. Kalau repress, there's no mRNA produced, there's no protein produced. Okay. So if the gene is activated, so translation occurs to produce specific protein. It can be enzyme lah, or in this case enzyme or other proteins that are able to carry out a specific function within the cell. Okay, to respond to the hormonal signal. So yang ni aku kena highlight juga, receptor can be in the nucleus or can be in the cytoplasm. Okay. So ini contoh lah kan, kalau untuk testosteron for example. So testosteron dia punya receptor dalam cytoplasm. Okay, kalau contoh yang tadi tu yang estrogen, receptor dia dalam nucleus. Tapi for these two hormones, estrogen dengan testosteron ni, it activates certain enzyme, certain gene in your DNA to produce mRNA to produce specific protein, okay, within the cell to respond to that hormonal signal. So kat sini ada satu video. Kita tengok dia punya mechanism sekejap.
Steroid hormone.
Sedang play media tadi. Okay.
Hormones are not Steroid hormones are not water soluble. They travel in the blood attached to protein carriers. When steroid hormones arrive at their target cells, they dissociate from their protein carriers and pass through the plasma membrane of the cell. Some steroid hormones bind to specific receptor proteins in the cytoplasm and then move as a hormone receptor complex into the nucleus. Other steroids travel directly into the nucleus before encountering their receptor proteins, not shown. The hormone receptor protein, activated by binding to the hormone, is now able to bind to specific regions of the DNA. These DNA regions are known as the hormone response elements. The binding of the hormone receptor complex has a direct effect on the level of transcription at that site. Messenger RNA, mRNA, is produced, which then codes for the synthesis of specific proteins.
Okay, so that video explains on lipid soluble hormone mechanism. Okay. Okay, so next one is water soluble hormone. Okay. So for water soluble hormones, so basically for this one, it involves endocrine cells, okay, endocrine glands. Within the endocrine glands, you have the endocrine cells that produces water soluble hormones such as polypeptide hormone, okay, protein hormones such as insulin. So for these cells, you can see berbeza dengan yang endocrine yang tadi. Untuk yang endocrine gland yang dia, as you can see, because the hormone is water soluble, the production of this hormone, okay, which is made up of protein, for example, kita kena recall balik yang kita belajar semester 2 dulu. Semester 1 dulu. Semester 1 yang untuk chapter cell. Kan, chapter cell on the function of rough endoplasmic reticulum, the attached ribosome on the rough endoplasmic reticulum, and then it produces it produces protein that is packaged into transport vesicle, and then it travels to the Golgi apparatus, to be modified, and then packaged again into secretory vesicles to produce specific protein that has specific function. In this case, it is the hormone. Okay, the protein hormone that is made up of protein. It is packaged into this secretory vesicle. So secretory vesicles will contain the hormone, protein hormone, such as, for example, here it can be insulin. Okay, ini maybe pancreatic cell. Contohnya lah. Okay, so once the hormone is packaged into these secretory vesicles, in order to release or secrete the hormone, so the vesicle will fuse with the plasma membrane. In the process, we call it as exocytosis. Okay, exocytosis. Then only the hormone can be released from the endocrine cell. Berbeza dengan yang steroid hormone tadi, dia boleh just diffuse out from the endocrine cell sebab dia adalah lipid soluble. Yang ni bukan lipid soluble, ini adalah water soluble. So the mechanism yang first kali ni berbeza. Okay, it has to be secreted through exocytosis from the fusion of the secretory vesicle with the plasma membrane. So once the hormone is released, it can travel into the blood vessels without any problem yang face dengan berbanding face by the steroid hormone tadi. Sebab ini dia adalah water soluble, so they can easily travel through your blood stream. Okay, so it is water soluble. It can dissolve in the blood plasma. Okay, in your blood. So once the hormone reaches its target cell, untuk hormon ni sebab dia adalah water soluble, faham tak? Bila dia water soluble, dia tak boleh nak diffuse through the plasma membrane. So for this type of hormone, dia punya mechanism dia adalah once it reaches target cells, the target cells must have receptor for that hormone embedded in the plasma membrane. Receptor for that hormone is embedded at the plasma membrane of the target cells, and then the hormone will bind to the receptor embedded in the plasma membrane to form hormone receptor complex. Okay, hormone receptor complex. So hormon ni dia tak boleh masuk. Dia hanya akan membentuk hormone receptor complex at the surface of the cell, at the plasma membrane here. So ini key point yang kena tahulah. So hormone bind to cell surface receptor. Key point that you must take note. Okay, you must take note. For water soluble hormone, such as for protein hormone that is made up of polypeptide chain. So this induces changes in the cytoplasmic molecules and sometimes altering gene transcription. So kat sini, kalau tengok, once the hormone receptor complex has been formed, dia akan trigger reaction within cell. Okay, so this reaction, for example, sama ada it causes a series of chemical reaction to occur, we call it as signal transduction. A series of chemical reaction to occur inside cell. So for example kat sini dia akan, kalau ingat kita belajar yang semester 1 dulu, chapter 3 kan, signal transduction. Bila berlaku binding of hormone kat sini, it causes this protein to change shape, and this will activate enzyme within the cell. The enzyme activate another enzyme is activated, another enzyme is activated. That is signal transduction. Okay, a series of chemical reaction to occur within cell to produce certain reaction to that cell. Okay, ataupun it triggers gene regulation to occur. Okay, gene regulation to occur. So as you can see from this diagram, so this is the mechanism that occurs during signal transduction. Okay, so as you can see here, given in the example is the hormone epinephrine. Okay, epinephrine is the type of hormone that is made up of dia amine kan, amine. Okay, epinephrine adalah amine yang water soluble. Okay, so it binds to receptor protein that is embedded at the plasma membrane of the target cell. So this receptor, we call it as the G protein couple receptor. You have to memorize this term. Okay, so peptide hormone, which is it is considered as first messenger. Untuk yang water soluble, kita ada dua messenger. First messenger is the hormone. Okay, is the hormone. So the hormone, which acts as the first messenger, binds to G protein couple receptor in the plasma membrane of the target cells. So G protein is activated and activate enzyme adenylyl cyclase. Okay, adenylyl cyclase. Okay, adenylyl cyclase. So this is the G protein lah. Okay, so G protein causes adenylyl cyclase to be activated. So the activation of adenylyl cyclase will convert ATP to form CAMP. Okay, cyclic adenosine monophosphate. Okay, which is acts as second messenger. So this is the another important point that you have to take note. Okay, so CAMP, C kecil AMP ni huruf besar, adenosine monophosphate. Okay, cyclic adenosine monophosphate, which acts as second messenger, causes protein kinase A, okay, to be activated, or some other protein to be activated that leads to a response. Ini kita namakan dia signal transduction, that causes a series of chemical reaction to be activated. One enzyme to be activated, another enzyme is activated until it causes certain response within cell. So in this case, the effects of hormone epinephrine adalah untuk epinephrine ni adalah hormon apa? Yang dia adalah hormon yang release masa fight or flight reaction. Kan, masa awak terkejut kan. So the hormone will be released untuk create instant energy. Faham tak? Instant energy. So this instant energy daripada mana? Daripada breakdown of glycogen. Okay? Bukan epinephrine yang breakdownkan glycogen. Enzyme dalam sel ni akan breakdown glycogen to form glucose. Kan? So the glucose will function as fuel lah to generate energy during fight or flight reaction to create instant energy. Okay? So that is the effects of hormone epinephrine. Okay, so some cell activity is altered, such as alters metabolism. So in this case, glycogen is broken down to release glucose. Okay, to provide instant energy for cell, for example, or it affects gene activity. Dia boleh activate or repress gene also. Okay, and then or it can open or closes ion channel at the plasma membrane. So it depends on the type of cell. And depends on what type of reaction or response the cells respond to that hormone. Okay, so ini adalah contoh-contoh activity within cells that respond to to certain specific hormones. Okay, so kat sini dia punya ni lah mechanism, the whole thing. So you have to remember every term here. Okay, G protein coupled receptor. The first messenger is a hormone, and then it activates G protein. G protein activate adenylyl cyclase. You have to make sure that your spelling is correct. So adenylyl cyclase will convert ATP into CAMP, activate protein kinase A. Protein kinase A triggers another enzyme that breaks down glycogen. Breaks down glycogen to glucose, okay, for example, ataupun inhibit glycogen synthesis. It depends on the reaction, okay, of the cell. So here we have another video. Okay, I'll play the video. Tak lama kot. Okay, sekejap.
Epinephrine is one of many hormones that is water-soluble, hydrophilic, and therefore unable to cross the hydrophobic plasma membranes of its target cells. Instead, it binds to receptor proteins located in the plasma membrane and does not enter the cell. When epinephrine binds to beta-adrenergic receptors on the liver cell, G proteins on the inner side of the cell membrane are activated. Each G protein is composed of 3 subunits, and the binding of epinephrine to its receptor protein causes one of the G protein subunits to dissociate from the other 2. The G protein subunit which dissociates from the others carries a GDP, which is replaced by GTP when the subunit is activated. The activated G protein subunit then diffuses within the plasma membrane until it encounters adenylyl cyclase, a membrane enzyme that is inactive until it interacts with the G protein subunit. When activated by the G protein subunit, adenylyl cyclase catalyzes the formation of CAMP from ATP. The CAMP formed at the inner surface of the membrane diffuses within the cytoplasm, where it binds to and activates protein kinase A, an enzyme that adds phosphate groups to specific cellular proteins. In liver cells, protein kinase A phosphorylates and thereby activates another enzyme called phosphorylase, which converts glycogen into glucose 6-phosphate. The glucose 6-phosphate is then converted to glucose. Through this multi-step mechanism, epinephrine causes the liver to secrete glucose into the blood during the fight or flight reaction.
Madam tak on mic.
Okay, sorry saya tak on mic. Okay, so kalau kat sini adalah perbezaan antara mechanism of action for the two hormones. Kan, kat sini I boleh go through the differences between steroid hormone and water soluble hormone or peptide hormone. Kan, kalau kat sini kita dah go through tadi kan, kalau steroid hormone easily pass through the plasma membrane sebab dia boleh dissolve through the phospholipid bilayer. Water soluble hormone cannot pass through the plasma membrane. The hormone cannot enter into the cell. Okay, cannot enter into the cell. Kalau steroid hormone, it needs to bind to transport protein. As for the water soluble hormone, can travel freely in the blood plasma. So kalau location untuk steroid hormone can be located either in the cytoplasm or in the nucleus. Okay, to form apa? Hormone receptor complex. Kalau peptide hormone or water soluble hormone, the receptor is only located at the surface of the plasma membrane. Dia tak boleh nak masuk dalam sel langsung. Okay. Kalau untuk steroid hormone, there's no production of second messenger, which is CAMP. Kalau water soluble hormone, there's production of CAMP from ATP. Okay. Ingat dah, CAMP adalah second messenger. First messenger adalah hormone. Okay. Kalau steroid hormone, there's no activation of protein kinase by CAMP. Kalau peptide ada, ini peptide ataupun water soluble. And then enzyme activation, no activation of enzyme by protein kinase. Ini ada activation of enzyme protein kinase or other enzyme, depends on the cell lah, depend on the reaction within the cell. And then hormone receptor complex reaction for steroid hormone either activate or suppress gene within the cell. Okay. And then kalau activate or suppress, dia akan lead kepada sama ada berlaku transcription ataupun tak. Transcription akan lead kepada translation. Okay. transcription and translation occur to produce protein required to alter the activity within the cell. So for peptide hormone, dia melibatkan apa? A series of reaction to occur within cell. One enzyme is activated that activate another enzyme that activate another enzyme until the cells complete the whole reaction, okay, which is triggered by the hormone, which is this cascade effects adalah signal transduction, okay, signal transduction. So make sure every time bila buat comparison tu mesti apple to apple lah, faham tak? Apple to apple, mesti comparison yang sama, perbandingan yang sama. Tak boleh lah easily pass through the plasma membrane, tiba-tiba awak tulis receptor at plasma membrane. Walaupun facts dia betul, tapi dia tak tally, dia tak apple to apple, so jawapan awak salah. Okay? So kita stop dulu sampai sini kelas.